When you're the only person from a galactic university, everyone treats you like you were made of cotton. Person in charge of registration tried to sell me candy and dreams on my first day. They thought that Earth's normal 1G would crush my delicate body. So they gave me a personal graphic. Aloha. My name is Alex Froch, and I'm what the whoopich has my metaphor and only one white possessor his challenges. The Earth has its challenges, the forceless gravity that would squat half of my hands and attribute pressure to that would cause down just to pop like basically a sensitive lava lamp with 3 PhDs and a bad mood every. When I walk into their classroom, their soft, squishy bodies move in what I can only describe as nervous worry. They said they expect me to spontaneously combust from the effort of existing. Steer head ropes. Are in class today when you so through inside their see-through masks. Be careful with the new holocaust. The bones of your species are different because they are made of calcium. Rather basic and open to trauma from across the room. Maybe student Rosario should take note. From behind a wall, I've read that people need constant control over their surroundings to stay alive. I mumbled as I slid out of my seat, a spacey geometric gossip, and I only use it. No, sever. I need one when I'm being. It has to be a crystal. Who even know they were. But it's true that people need to shut down for 8 hours every day to keep their systems from breaking down. It's called sleep, and where when you spend 3 days a week in photos in Bristol, you're the only one who lived and treated me like my whole me. Was a soft empath who looked like someone had given a through a hoverland, insolent, and life. Ridicule out, Alex. I watched more of the Earth Nature documentaries you suggested, the ones about your world. I find those tardigrades very interesting, but I'm a little worried about how close the camera is. The crib dropped such a dangerous midget that I didn't want to tell them that tardigrades were best. It was Master Nix's cute shape came together at the front of a classroom, their clear minds of their educational records float and suspended enemies inside them. Today, in show-off class, we started on natural selection and how the species have changed over time. These students will give a presentation on the most dangerous hunts from their home world. Their tone was filled with what they probably thought was kindness, but came off as mean. Since Earth is a pretty safe place to live, you might want to show on one of your world's dangerous animals, like one of those animals, like one of those dangerous animals. If I say cats, I think that you're okay talking about saying dangerous animal. I slouched him up and smiled. I thought, oh, this is going to be permanent. While they were thinking that Earth was some kind of cosmic petting zoo, they forgot one small fact. Earth is not a zoo. Living things that live in the seeds would give their whole species collective trauma. Time don't meet Tim's idea. Sorry. Of thirst. I had to listen to it every day, or else when should have got used to that with I was going to pass out. I didn't mention you. I was treated like I was going to pass out and mention of natural selection for elk or being human meant being the most spoiled top potter in the galaxy. Have you ever watched a train wreck go by slowly? I felt like that during the next week of class, but instead of a train, my peers look the exhilarating they announced in private legs that think part of their voice could swallow the whole geological formations in seconds. You know what? Now, that's where watch next came Zephyr, who chimed nervously as they talked. It's neat. I could talk about some kind of environment-based predator that ate lightning cool. The idea was completely useless against anything that wasn't going through an electrical storm. And what they even added a exciting recreation of a hunting trip that mostly looked like cloud showed off their world tether flute. To picture it, think of a wolverine crossed with a weave. It has fur as thick as males and can eat food 3 times its size and chirp when it's bright. I asked, how big is it? Because I was really interested in your hands about bad bears back home and tried not to laugh the whole time. Professor Nixwell kept shooting me just worry looks at me with worry in their gelatinous body every time someone talked about hunting methods or gut such as them that make me feel like I'm going to pass out the thought of one animal eating another. suggested during a very thorough explanation of how acid-based prey digestion works. R.H. Sheldon would like to eat the very. I'm fine, Professor. I have asked them making methods. And so that's me studying Earth as well. We saw in kids without merely by another had some kind of quantum predator that appeared in more than one dimension at the same time, but couldn't be caught on video properly. They kept telling me that these things had been too much for my primitive nervous system. Their system to finally understand. After 3 days of this, Professor Nietzsche turned their attention to me. Their academic credential seemed to be jolting around at the nuclear forum as they prayed one more question. So while we would you normally expect to talk on the world's biggest predator, the students, because Earth is a safe world. In the galactic community, could you tell us about one of your world's less dangerous species? I think you said something about a cat earlier. The whole class Buster chimed with what very probably thought was encouraging noise. Yes. It was very aware of rats. He said, like, get us wide up, Miguel. That smile that made our ancestors the best hunters on Earth. And the smile that says, look what Professor says to, I know, Professor, I said pulling out, which is something you don't want to do, and you won't like it. I like to talk to the class about a species of Earth called Terrera as, but you know about a different name. I opened the first picture. After the exit speech about the three-part shark, the room was mostly quiet. He sounded like a chalkboard, having a stroke. I have to say it again. Professor Nick then, their form, re-owing with fear. You think about how, I kept going on and kind of happy by saying that they're not even not your most dangerous enemy. They're just my favorite. Now, let me talk about that to have something what the hell comes in. It's like a conveyor belt of development. Oh, definitely like an interpretive dance. The whole place is alive with the hologram artist moving around. Shelves that move around based on how you study them. Most of the time it's pretty quiet, which only the hum of a quantum database building or the soft. Tonight it was just me, but I could hear the chimes of crystals who don't study and putting screens showing world scenes and all this glory. And me, I don't understand. I said, making 1,000 here. One of them wants a video of a great white breaking in slow motion. How does it move through the dihydrogen monoxide solution? I explained by pulling up another image that this is called swimming, moving quickly without using technology to help you move. Yes, well, you can just call it water, but it's a liquid when it's not frozen, a natural liquid. But covers most of your world. You shade out that 80% of Earth species live there. Yeah, Meebo's fur went fully flat. Your species evolved in a world where people died. It's full of creatures that they evolved to do well in liquid death. The word was got stuck there. Finally, someone gets it and treating you like you're fragile. I smiled as I queued up my favorite part of the 40 is sail. The hologram showed a great white. The hologram showed a great white coming out from below and the speeding up, moved up with the kind of predator. Grace the racing other top predators think twice about their job choices. They whisper, that's beautiful. Make it sound like a squeaky toy having. I could tell that they were going through what I thought of as their species version of awe and terror. Terrifying, but beautiful. The others don't know about this yet, but they will tomorrow. I changed the presentation, making sure to include the video of Mia losing control for a moment. I'm going to get to of the color of their hair. And again, please give me your please tell me you're showing that one. Oh, I'm showing all of them the pack hunting video because they hunt in groups. Meepa's voice rose and active. It sounded like liquid moving in time. Sometimes death, but wait until it happens. So beefy a lot of people at once. I spent that night. Mayo asked about 8 million questions, each one scarier and more interesting than the last. He was especially stuck on the idea that sharks are older than trees, which led to also discussion about Earth's essential evolutionary history. It made this moment possible. As they finally said, as I was finishing up my talk, you know that this is good. Totally destroy their understanding of the universe. Great point. It might actually break this species apart. Does that happen under a lot of stress? I know that I would have filled up the form task on cleanup. Meatballs for ribald with what I knew to be their brand of life, but you were really ready for everything, weren't you? As you learned to be careful if you come from a death world. I pulled up one last one, then hologram this one. Shows how big a great white shark is compared to the average alien station on Earth. It is then. So they can get the most out of their schooling. Professor Nicktube is gonna wheel out to Lamipato. So the cleanup thrust form should also cover base change afterwards. Well, that's how you learn, right? Have you ever had one of those? When you know you're about to change everyone's mind for bad, and that's how I built this approach the area. When was just would show one last time, I had to suggest that maybe a less intense subject. Professor, I cut him off. You kindly asked us to show you our world's predators. I'm just stating, wow, let's be, there's something I'm supposed to do. The animators at Pause being the same, that people are too fragile to handle our own planetarily by checkmate. They've like, please. I opened my first Hologram, which was a simple side comparison chart. Let's begin. Some facts about the great white shark that can get up to, and even Zephyra stopped playing their normal music in the background. Ringing, but it's not their size or speed that really stands out. It's their genetic perfection. I moved on to the next hologram, which shows a detailed anatomy. Look, you can see that sharks have been around for more than 450 million years. For as long as trees have been around, they've lived through multiple major extinctions that killed all on Earth, right? Because they're so good at what they do. Some sharks can eat up to 500 every year. Their crystalline starfish had grown several strides cracked over the course of their lifetime. Cracked. But the most interesting thing about them is how they hunt. Up the bricks video, totally out of the water with a seal in its mouth. A few students made noise that they had no idea that their species could make Meatball's recording device. We working hard on that's creable of. I humorously noticed a muscle shooting itself completely out of the water. And they had more than one student to hunt, but they're always a little silly. Something squeaked in the back. Oh, glad you asked, I switched. To quote from a video of the feeding frenzy. They often hunt alone, but they also take part in group feeding events. And when more than one great white finds the same food source, hologram filled the room with pictures of swirling water with many a huge sharks feeding in a feeding frenzy. Someone became frozen in fear. I most like kept going. The gas no much happened just to cause VX because of how they developed. Some types of sharks have to keep swimming even when they're asleep or they'll die. They're such perfect killers that they can't stop. Professor Nick Velve, they had lost all their humanoid features, and Professor Nick Velve was now just a slightly academic puddle on the floor in the studio. Bros, they were able to, and then we've seen enough, but I haven't even talked about the best part yet. I pulled up the last hologram, which showed the whole Earth ocean environment. But the picture, you don't even demo dangerous scene. I love them so much. Would you like to hear more about Paleta Orca? Because they're smart enough to make up hunting plans on the spot and teach how to hunting plan on the spot and teach them to other people, or maybe the giant squid. We're not sure how, because they're so deep in the ocean. We risk catching many adult of them. So don't give up on the ending. Our oceans cover more than 70% of Earth's area. That is all we know about it. We've only looked into about 5% of it. Earth's oceans, you can only guess what else is down there. Married, Vix broke into people, right? Clean up. I counted exactly 37 kids. The kids had to gather, especially vacuum tools. Professor Nitchell was still trying to get back into a coherent shape and manually was almost shining wet by carefully. Pride, are there any questions? I'll ask the shocked group, whose only movement with a shady limb raised from the back. Are you saying that humans evolved on a planet with these animals? I smiled my best brother smile. Maybe not let them, yeah, you know what? I would make a coat under the capuch of Ranum, the truth about the sea life around Earth. I couldn't help but wish they'd stop treating me like I was. Honestly, and he get swept down into Earth pens, got made of sponge sugar. It's almost worth the whole semester of being rude. News spread it's quickly in the university. All the telepaths, bumpaths, and beings that can talk to each other through quantum by the end of the tea. The story of the person who broke in on biology 401 had spread through campuses as quickly as a shark through chum-filled water. Was keep a consistent shape. And the students who were going through different kinds of psychological crises then turn most likely not paying attention, and they said in a student voice, student wrote, I think you get drinks or however the math and a whisper up at the same time. Interesting presentation today. Just follow the task guidelines. Do you know? But yeah, they flicker it just slow that music about it. And we'll just say this is the normal example from Earth's what? No. I answered happily. Yeah, sharks are pretty calm compared to some. Did you know that we have birds or a spider that can kill you in 4 hours? Even for a rape to start forest fires, to scare away their food, or they just keep the frogs shell away the sun. Getting close to one can kill several grown humans, according to the. And people just live, well, not the sharks, because those live in the ocean, but these other animals. And sometimes a small quantum singularity formed while they were on vacation. I'm pretty sure the short time they were in the corner of the room was just their brain trying to escape reality. Napa was still filming everything with the zeal of a documentary director who had just found the story of the century. Had brushed over their priors and settled in a pattern that somehow managed to show both complete horror and full respect. Dean A. Though Alex was just telling me, come home. That looks a lot like I was terror-footed in his eye and can rip your guts out. Like yeah, I only have one kick, and people think of them as one of the less dangerous animals. It was interesting to see how the dean's face flickered with not, but what could have been worry or existential fear. I need to math. They told us we should think about changing how Earth is classified in the cute. I added that as they remember that we should probably also update the page about Earth squid. The one about the big squid I told you about not long ago. People thought that story. It makes you wonder what else is down there, doesn't it? Professor Nix V, who had finally gotten back to something like their normal shape, quickly fell apart again. The dean turned to talk to the rest of the class about what had happened today. I think we should end the meeting early. Main wants to keep collecting student visa and therapy services are available for anyone having trouble selecting a life. No, this is interesting time to play. Someone asked you, I think the dean said this once a week from behind an emergency shield generator. We should take the careful precision of someone going over every contact they've ever had with the president again. So much time to think about this new information, or maybe we could change this to our backup protocols as these students slowly left the room. Some floaters and others holding a okay. Yeah. Having to be carefully scooped into containment boxes. Meals stayed behind and didn't move. On stems, trapped their tails a jumble interest when you said sharks. So I smiled and thought her the most dangerous. Right, yeah. Who? Damn, Gobana. Yeah. Abortion worker was right, Then we'll talk about that another time. But Meepo must already be accessing the university's xenobiological database with their tell me everything before his present. If I was glowing with excitement. I thought you okay. Isn't he Renlin weave out so much? Putting the exit of building unit, I looked around at the chaotic and crystal gases. They were all over the place. A piece of racks waiting to be put back together. A rack almost took in and squeezed my eyes, changed the order, but away from exterior. Ella was have to go on his gum or other people their way into other worlds and felt injected. 1 minute you're the weak, Deathworlder that everyone is afraid will break, and next thing you know, you're the Deathworlder that everyone is great. Wish them more as wildlife. Designation, was finalized, put back together, but they had an introvert habit of they would take different routes to class, and whenever they saw me coming, their crystal mint structure would start to show a stressed breaks. Every time someone talked about big bodies, what on the plus side, they finally started talking about how basic my biology is. Professor Nixville also got better. Even though they never quite managed to keep their perfect geometric shape during my shows after that, but they did start a cool new course called Survival Strategies for Dealing with Terrestrial Creatures, and I started learning these arena-style training montages. I've been told that biology is already full for the next 3 quarters. The biggest change came from in the dean's office, they changed Earth's status in the galaxy database from protected habitat to handle with care. Period. Um, they added a warning that everything there is trying to kill you. Note that native people may look falsely weak. This is not true. They like to swim with their prey for fun. Meepo became famous for this. As soon as their video went popular on the Quantum Net, they began a whole series called Earth, A Survivor's Guide to Death. World Biology. Their story about honey badgers led to 3 different talks between incidents and had to get at least an 18 on the conscious scale. As for me, I got moved to teaching assistant for the brand new Earth Studies department. And speaking of my elimination, it turns out that a lot of people are interested in learning about a world where the most common species came up with parkour because running on the ground wasn't fun for them, enough that the university had to make new rules for my class's safety. It seems that showing videos of people free climbing cliffs or diving with great white sharks could be harmful, disturbing images or sounds for most species. I had to sign a waiver saying I would tell students before showing any videos of their extreme games, but why did one student ask during a class on human recreation, reason why you would put yourself in danger on purpose for fun? It would be fun to try to explain. Adrenaline junkies and risky sports. I just smiled at the thought of humanity's never-ending quest to push the limits. Put up a video of wingsuit flying, and 3 students had to be kicked out of class. The other students watched in horror. Fascination. I told the surprise class that the really interesting thing is that most of these activities weren't created by humans to help them stay alive. We do them for fun, as crazy as possible, because we get bored quickly. That's when someone in the back raised a limb, student, RHS. Are you saying that people look for risky things for fun? And oh, yeah, we even made something called social media. The room went crazy with noise as we shared videos of ourselves doing more and more dangerous things. Because of the scary noises, someone started a petition to change the classification of people as existential terror is a way of thinking about things that is currently getting popularity in the but the best part is that no one tries to help me carry my books. No longer, but sometimes I see some of the braver kids looking at me with a mix of fear and awe. Especially after I told them about the time I went flying, they kept following me around with their recorder. They were making their newest video called Humans, the Species That Looked Evolutionary in the Eye, and said, hold on to your beer. It's already been labeled as psychological horror and 3-star ratings. And every once in a while, when I'm really missing that first shark fight, during my presentations, I like to joke that Australia only exists to watch quantum physics. It's funny how students try to figure out how to get to a different world where they never learned about Earth. People who say that information is power and fear is respect are wrong. There is a honey badger out there, doesn't care about any of it anymore. Huh.